Badlands. Explain those Badlands. That's a hell of a name.
Mr. Vice President, I'm going off script again, I know, but I just want to personally thank you. We've been through some stuff. We've gone through some of the most complex military operations this country's ever conducted, and your steady hand and your leadership during those was a great source of strength for me. Thank you for your leadership. Thank you for your character. Thank you for your selfless service. Thank you for commitment. Thank you for being a mentor to me, Mr. Vice President.
It's called the swamp. And you know what happened? And you know what I did? A big favor. I caught the swamp. I caught them all. Let's see what happens. Nobody else could have done that but me. I caught all of this corruption that was going on, and nobody else could have done it. Did I get that one right? Every 4 years, we gather on these steps to carry out the orderly and peaceful transfer of power. Today's ceremony, however, has very special meaning, because today we are not merely transferring power from one administration to another, but we are transferring power from Washington, D.C., and giving it back to you, the people. For too long, a small group in our nation's capital has reaped the rewards of government, while the people have borne the cost. Washington flourished, but the people did not share in its wealth. This American carnage stops right here and stops right now. The forgotten men and women of our country will be forgotten no longer. From this day forward, a new vision will govern our land. From this day forward, it's going to be only America first.
This is a president of the United States who is a danger to the republic.
America first.
He knows he's an illegitimate president.
The oath of office I take today is an oath of allegiance to all Americans.
The great Trump recovery.
America will never be a socialist country. I will fight for you with every breath in my body.
Russia, Russian, pro-Russian, Russian, Russia, Russian, 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 the Russians. Russia,
Russia, Russia, Russia.
And I will never, ever let you down.
A dangerous virus is spreading rapidly in China, and U.S. officials are very worried that it could come here.
This is really the worst attack we've ever had. This is worse than Pearl Harbor. This is worse than the World Trade Center. There's never been an attack like this. The time for empty talk is over. Now arrives the hour of action. What they're doing is using COVID to steal an election. Together, we will make America strong again. You know what it's about? Fraud, fake ballots. We will make America wealthy again. They are trying to steal the election.
Now, under the leadership of President Trump, we are fully realizing President Kennedy's prescient view of Special Operations Forces.
We will make America proud again. And watch, please, those mail-in ballots. We will make America safe again. And in millions and millions of ballots. Their vote is under what they thought they needed. They're dumping more ballots in there, okay? And yes, together, we will make America great again. Thank you. God bless you. If we are right about the fraud, Joe Biden can't be president.
Congress, the chair declares the joint session dissolved.
Good evening, everybody, and welcome to the Saturday edition of the Devolution Power Hour. Hope you're all having a great week. It's certainly been an interesting couple of days. Been pretty fun. How are you two doing, Patrick and Chris?
I've been shooting up Thorazine so that I will be calm for this show.
Wow.
I didn't even know what Thorazine is, but it sounds like a fun drug, man.
It's a first generation antipsychotic used in mental institutions to keep the criminally insane docile.
Well, I found 1,000 Indian immigrants in my stocking on Christmas. So I guess it's just been a banner week for all of us.
I got called a racist today, and it's funny because my username, Patel
Welcome
Patriot,
to the show, bro.
I've had it for 4 years, is based off of an Indian who happens to be a personal hero of mine. So that was funny. Yeah, we are going to discuss this immigration thing a little bit, guys. I know not everybody wants to hear that, but it's going to happen because this is the first show I've been on. I think any of you guys, well, I guess maybe not Patrick. Patrick did talk about it a little bit last night, I've heard, but we haven't really talked about this much because we haven't had a show. So we're going to discuss it. We're going to discuss it from all angles and probably give a different perspective than I think most people have been giving on the whole situation, but maybe not. I don't know. We'll see. It should be a fun one regardless, but we do also have other topics we're going to get into. So why don't we just start right off the bat with the sponsors of today's show, or at least the first one, and then we can get right into it.
The last 4 years have put so much stress on American family finances. Help end the stress now with President-elect Donald Trump and by investing in gold and silver. Join the thousands of hardworking Americans taking proactive steps to help protect and safeguard their savings with our partners at Goldco. Goldco has been established as a top-rated precious metals company and a leader in the gold industry, providing white glove treatment for over 10 years. Their buyback guarantee assures you that if your situation changes, they will repurchase your metals at the best price, providing you with peace of mind. You'll have the peace of mind that comes from knowing that your hard-earned assets are securely diversified. Find out the relationship between gold, silver, Trump, and you with the free report focused on Trump and your financial future. You may even qualify for up to 10% back in bonus silver. Visit badlandsgold.com to claim your free information and instantsilver.com/badlands to see how much free silver you can get. That's badlandsgold.com and instantsilver.com/badlands to take control of your financial destiny.
Awesome. Well, let's get right into it. Do you guys even know where this thing began? Because I know like the big discussion and debate and everybody getting heated, like the so-called fracturing of the movement happened, I believe, over the Vivek post. And we'll probably read that, the one where he called everybody lazy.
Yeah, the real one, it started with this AI czar, who is a very interesting looking Indian gentleman who turns out to be not a coder at all, gets tapped to be AI czar. And his first...
Who's that?
His name's like
Krishnan.
Okay.
And he comes out and he says, I need all of our the caps that we've got on H-1B. Remove the caps. John, you're blurry all of a sudden. I'm not sure why.
I'm using a different camera. So.
Oh, gotcha. Okay. Ah, beautiful.
Thank you.
So he says we need to get the H-1B visa program uncapped. And that was a real serious, like, red line for the base, for the people who were just finding out about it. No. We've been flooded forever. You're not going to increase anything. That's not happening. And so that's when Vivek came out with his absolutely bizarre, indefensible essay about Americans and the suckitude. And that's when MAGA went apeshit.
Yeah,
myself.
We'll read through that, but I do want to point something out that I think I don't know if many people are aware of this. The DHS actually announced a change to the H-1B visa program just like a week ago. And I had no idea about it until this whole debate started going on and I started researching some of this stuff, which that's been one good thing about this whole thing is a lot of people know more about the H-1B and just the visa immigration program in general than they did before. And that is not a bad thing. That is a good thing.
That is the greatest thing.
But check this out. Let me remove that. This was, doesn't even say the date on here. 12/17/24.
Okay.
DHS announces H-1B modernization final rule to improve program integrity and efficiency. We'll just read, like, I think these first two.
Okay. The Department of Homeland Security today announced a final rule that modernizes the H-1B program by streamlining the approval process, increasing its flexibility to better allow employers to retain talented workers, and improving the integrity and oversight of the program. What you need to know. The H-1B non-immigrant visa program allows U.S. employers to temporarily employ foreign workers in specialty occupations defined by statute as occupations that require highly specialized knowledge and a bachelor's or higher degree in the specific specialty or its equivalent. The final rule aims to provide greater flexibilities for employers and workers by modernizing the definition and criteria for specialty occupation positions, as well as for nonprofit and governmental research organizations that are exempt from the annual statutory limit on H-1B visas. These changes will help U.S. employers hire the employees they need to meet their business needs and remain competitive in the global marketplace.
Yeah, so they made a bunch of changes to make it easier and more flexible, and most people also don't know, like, oh, there's a cap on it. There's a cap, but there's exemptions to that cap, and the whole thing is corrupt. And I think that's the thing that's been revealed most of all when looking into this is these tech companies and bigger companies abuse this program because they can hire foreign workers at a much cheaper rate. And that's one issue. I think they get government money essentially to do it too, don't they? Is my understanding there correct?
I didn't see anything about subsidies in the H-1B.
And that's fine. That doesn't make it like any worse or better that it's not there. It's still a bad program. But yeah, Chris, do you want to weigh on anything so far?
Well, I don't want to divert the conversation too much, but at some point I think that and I think Bannon talks about this a little bit and basically nobody else does, but what exactly is the global marketplace? In a globalist system, the idea of a global marketplace makes sense because you're talking about global investment dollars. They're going to be funneled to one country or another. And this is all the kind of malign regime influence that they can leverage when they control the currency and the supply of the currency and the flow of the currency to all parties involved. And when that's not there, when we go to a more decentralized system, when the emergence of this multipolar world order actually happens in a way that people are really beginning to sense and understand, what does it mean to compete in a global marketplace? We should have everything here that we need onshore in America, and our ability to protect ourselves without the participation in that global marketplace should be something more about actual national security and physical defense. And in that case, it doesn't make any sense whatsoever to be trying to attract talent from around the world so that we can have the best dog walking app. I really don't understand what this conversation is ultimately even about. Can we defend the country or not? Because if we can't defend the country, then we've already had a governmental and military failure of enormous proportions, right? If what it requires to defend this country is some number in the thousands, not in the tens of thousands or millions, but in the thousands of mid-level tech workers, and we don't have those, we can't produce those in the United States, then we've already lost wars. And the thing is, we kind of already have, because the country's been usurped by this foreign occupying power that pushes globalism. Anyway, that was a rant, I guess.
Yeah.
That's a good one.
So when you talk about free trade, it all sounds good from a, Milton Friedman economics, I guess you could say from an Austrian economics perspective. It is the highest efficiency way to run an economy. Mm-hmm. It runs into trouble when you realize that that system requires the free flow of labor across borders as well. Okay. Mm-hmm. That's great for the people who benefit at the very top of all of these systems, But
And probably at the very bottom too.
Yeah. Mass immigration destroys nations. Full stop. You can't have mass immigration and have our societies, and I mean that plural, survive. The host nation is destroyed. The nation you're stealing, your brain draining gets destroyed as well.
Yeah. And really the biggest thing about this debate, let's read Vivek's post. I think let's start there. And this is just the start. There were some concerning posts from Elon, and there's some concerning activity from Elon too in terms of like censorship on X, which I'm honestly more upset about that than anything. And then today, like just an hour ago, he actually made the point that I was hoping to make, and I think he got to where I think the program actually should be, and so we'll get there. But let's start with this, Patrick. Let's read through Vivek's post and get rightfully pissed off.
All right, here we go, guys. This is where he sits us down, has a little chatsy with us because he's the adult in the room. So Vivek Ramaswamy writes, the reason top tech companies often hire foreign-born and first-generation engineers over native Americans isn't because of an innate American IQ deficit, a lazy and wrong explanation. A key part of it comes down to the C word, culture. Tough questions demand tough answers, and if we're really serious about fixing the problem, we have to confront the truth. Our American culture, okay, buddy, take it easy, has venerated mediocrity over excellence for way too long, at least since the 90s and likely longer. That doesn't start in college, it starts young. A culture that celebrates the prom queen over the math Olympiad champ or the jock over the valedictorian will not produce the best engineers. A culture that venerates Corey from Boy Meets World or Zach and Slater over Screech in Saved by the Bell or Stefan over Steve Urkel in Family Matters will not produce the best engineers. Fact! I know multiple sets of immigrant parents in the 90s who actively limited how much their kids could watch those TV shows. You know, Saved by the Bell, Boy Meets World, Family Matters, precisely because they promoted mediocrity. And their kids went on to become wildly successful STEM graduates. More movies like Whiplash, fewer reruns of Friends, more math tutoring, fewer sleepovers, more weekend science competitions, fewer Saturday morning cartoons, more books, less TV, more creating, less chillin', more extracurriculars, less hanging out at the mall. Most normal American parents look skeptically at those kinds of parents. More normal American kids view those kinds of kids with scorn. If you grow up aspiring to normalcy, normalcy is what you will achieve. Now, close your eyes and visualize which families you knew in the 90s or even now who raised their kids according to one model versus the other. Be brutally honest. Normalcy doesn't cut it in a hyper-competitive global market for technical talent. And if we pretend like it does, we'll have our asses handed to us by China. This can be our Sputnik moment. We've awakened from slumber before, and we can do it again. Trump's election hopefully marks the beginning of a new golden era in America, but only if our culture fully wakes up. Our culture, that's funny. A culture that once again prioritizes achievement over normalcy, excellence over mediocrity, nerdiness over conformity, hard work over laziness. That's the work we have cut out for us. Rather than wallowing in victimhood and just wishing or legislating alternative hiring practices into existence, I'm confident we can do it.
I mean, damn, like I don't know if he realizes. Okay, so we could argue this too. Like a lot of people are saying, oh, this whole thing's an op. This whole thing's an op. That is very possible, right? But considering none of us are read in on the op, we can be aware that this potentially is an op, but we can still call out bullshit when we see it and try to see what's going on and still promote what I would consider to be America First values. And what that post just there was bullshit. Like that, he was slapping us in the face, calling us lazy, calling us like he trashed our culture.
And made sure that they don't watch Saved by the fucking Bell. And also Screech was a retard. All right. Can we start with that? What am I supposed to? Am I supposed to venerate Screech, you idiot? And don't talk about our culture, Vivek. Okay, it's American culture, and you're an Indian. All right, so stop it. Greetings, fellow Americans. Bite me, okay? A piece of paper does not make you an American. You're an Indian, and please be a better guest than somebody who writes a friggin' essay like that.
Speaking of culture, explain this to me.
He wrote down the whole crowd. He opens his mouth, but the words won't come out. Joking how everybody's joking now. The clock's run out. Over plow, snap back to reality. Up there goes gravity. Up there goes gravity.
I can't even watch it all. I will say I've had so much fun with this whole like op these last like 72 hours. I've just been shit posting on Twitter more than I ever have, and it's been amazing.
Yeah, so good.
And one more thing here for people in the chat. I'm aware that for whatever reason, this show Rumble is like playing ads over the top of it consistently now, like 4 or 5 ads.
Live?
Yeah, I don't. Apparently, apologies. We'll reach out to the Rumble team and see what's going on, because that's definitely different. But anyway, Chris, do you have anything you want to say?
Damn it, I had something and I totally forgot what it was. Patrick was.
I'm so sorry.
Let me put it
like halfway through.
Maybe I can help jog. Maybe I'll jog your memory by. Go ahead, Chris.
Well, so yeah, that's the thing. You know, like venerating these dorks. First of all, John, I know you and I both played sports in high school, and I think we both went to college. Patrick, you played some sports or no?
I definitely did. I wasn't that good, but I did play basketball on the high school level.
We all watched cartoons. We all watched MTV. We all fucked around on the internet. We all played video games, right?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. I think we came out okay. We've had careers in different fields that require us using our brains and our entrepreneurship.
Yeah.
So I mean, I guess we made it through okay.
But we're not engineers. We're not IT people.
Yeah.
Let me put it to you this way, guys. All right. So I was a serial math contest winner and a serial spelling bee winner. I was a champion debate team dork and a theater nerd. Okay.
And now he sells lotion.
And
guys.
now I have a degree in mathematics from a pretty prestigious university. And I will see myself in hell before I let us stop venerating the prom king and the star athlete and start venerating friggin' Screech. Bro, that dude, Vivek, has got some serious psychological issues that he needs to unpack himself, that he revealed in that freaking screed of his.
Let me say one more thing about this, and then we can move on. So in Hollywood, one of my best friends from my entire time in Hollywood, his dad was a pretty successful showrunner out there who's been doing big shows for like 40 years. And he said, very early on in my time in Hollywood, he was like, one thing you will come to understand is that Hollywood is revenge of the nerds. All the people who run things out here were dorks in high school and could never get any girls and never had any fun. And now they figured out that this is their route to power and money. And once they have power and money, they can be the cool guys that they've always wanted to be. And when Vivek Ramaswamy points at people like Screech and Urkel, what was the common thread with them, their characters in all these shows? Oh, they were kind of dorky. They only cared about their studies. They were constantly trying to be cool and get girls. And the problem, one of the biggest problems in the world is that we've let dorks take over, because everybody that is not obsessed with getting money so that they can get girls and be cool is just having a normal life, while the dorks will seriously stab everyone they know in order to try to be cool and get money and get girls. And Posobiec made this point. I'm sure many other people have made it, but we saw how these people run things in 2020.
They're the worst. The only one who was able to do a good job running things is this alpha male Chad dude who can throw a football through a tiny little hole in a tarp. Donald Trump. For those of you who don't know.
Yeah, but Trump supporters were the ones who saw through all the bullshit. On all of these issues for the last 5 years, Trump supporters are the only people who have seen through it. And that's first because they think for themselves, but second, because they actually listen to Donald Trump and take him seriously and use his words as information among other information and figure out what to do rather than just trusting the dorks. which is what they're always encouraging. Who are the experts? Who are the scientists? We don't need more of those people.
Scammers, dorks and scammers, man.
That's a great point, though. There, Chris, is what you just said. Is we think for ourselves, and we don't like just do what we're told. And a big part of this fracture is people were upset that no, we don't agree with this. We don't agree with this push from Elon and Vivek and these other tech bros that are new to the movement. All these things, we don't agree with that. And people are no, we need unity. We need to all be on the same side. All those things.
Unity.
Why? Fuck that. We won. Trump won. We have control of all this stuff. We have an opportunity here to build America in a vision that we want it to be, that it should be. But we're just supposed to roll over and play dead so that Elon and Vivek can do what they want with it. We should be allowed to advocate the ideas that we believe in at all times. That's the America I want. I don't want to be told to shut up because we're all on the same side now. Unity. Shut up for unity.
The unity thing is ridiculous. People held us hostage, and I'm not talking about us in particular. I'm just talking about everybody who is, I guess, this stuff is directed at throughout the entire quote unquote election cycle. Oh, you can't say those things. We got to be unified right now. We need to make sure everybody's on the same page so we get enough votes so that Trump can win this fake election. Okay, well, now the fake election's over. And why do we have to be unified now? What is the unity supposed to get us? Oh, it's going to help push the nominees on the fantasy team through their nomination process in 2 months. We got to be unified right now on this issue so that Trump's nominees can get through the Senate. That's not legitimate in our government. That's not legitimate. It's crazy.
Yeah. It was also weird how Trump was awkwardly silent about this issue until he called the New York Post allegedly let them know how he feels. But that was another interesting thing because he wanted this to play out and see how it would play out. Maybe that was the op. He wanted to show the tech bros how little control they actually have over the situation, because it kind of did. Elon Musk went from I will fuck your face to H-1B, this is how I want, kind of what you guys were saying all along.
Guys, there's a good chance that people in the audience have not caught up on all of the Elon updates because I haven't.
Well, let's go to this one.
All right, here we go. So Mario Knopfel, very important fellow apparently, writes that Elon says, stop trying to optimize something that shouldn't exist. And then Elon says, everyone's been trained in high school and college to answer the question, convergent logic. He's saying, stop trying to fix something that shouldn't exist.
Should we just watch the video? Because isn't he quoting the video? I think it's
Why not? Why not?
Oh,
Why
it's
not?
4 minutes long.
4
No,
minutes.
that's too long.
It's a little much. It's a little much.
Sorry.
He's busy being, super cool dude, nerdy dork. So Stephen Mackey says, okay, first Elon says, stop trying to optimize something that shouldn't exist. And then, let's optimize H-1B.
Because that's what Elon's been saying for the past 2 days, essentially.
Okay. I mean, mostly he's been saying, look, we can't get what we need unless we can friggin' get foreigners from everywhere, including to clean toilets.
Yeah, well,
that's an uncharitable thing of me to say. He did not say that. All right. Anyway, so Elon Musk responds, the reason I'm in America, along with so many critical people who built SpaceX, Tesla, and hundreds of other companies that made America strong, is because of H-1B. Take a big step back and fuck yourself in the face. I will go to war on the issue, the likes of which you cannot possibly comprehend, because I'm a supervillain.
Maybe. He also might not be. We just spent an entire episode on Wednesday's Devolution Power Hour talking about all the DOD and interesting connections to Elon Musk. I mean, so like we said, there very well could be an op to this whole thing. We're totally going to acknowledge that. It's also possible. There are two scenarios here. It's either an op and he's still on the good side of things, or he's been a villain the whole time. And now he's found the opportunity to push his agenda. Who knows?
If he wants to quote Tropic Thunder correctly, it's take a big step back and literally fuck your own face. That is the line that Tom Cruise said. Get it right, Elon.
Maybe he didn't want to violate copyright no copyright infringement or something.
But anyway, so what he's doing there is so over the top and so weird and so unhinged. I think it's on purpose.
You'd almost think it'd have to be.
So my thinking is very much in line with yours, John. I think that what we're witnessing is Donald Trump engaging in a negotiation with people that we don't currently have eyes on. And part of that negotiation is he can't just tell them how his people feel about H-1B and immigration from third world countries in general. He had to show them. How do you do that? Well, the way to show the people you're negotiating with is to say, Elon, here's what we're going to do. We're going to talk about H-1B, and we're not going to give them a single inch of ground on their concerns. You're going to tell them that H-1B is the greatest thing ever, and you're going to be freaking, you're just really ham it up, dude. Go wild. Let them know how big a deal it is, and then see if you can get the Indian dude to do a big essay on how, Chads can't engineer or some shit. And that gave the whole world a glimpse into the measure of our resolve as a people. And our resolve as a people is unwavering on this. We're not interested in America winning, whatever the F that means. We are interested in having a nation that looks out for the nation, because all the other countries get that. It's just apparently the whites don't get anything like that. And that's freaking creepy, and it's coming to an end.
Let's read this too. This is what he just posted about an hour ago, a little over an hour and a half ago. And this is where I'm at with this. So go ahead and read Sterling. And by the way, Sterling has a great long thread on like all the data behind what's actually going on with the H-1B visa program. It's worth your time going through. I don't think we should need to go through the entire thing, but we can read this post and then what Elon says.
Okay. Robert Sterling says, America needs to be a destination for the world's most elite talent, but the H-1B program isn't the way to do that. I'm going to stop posting for now, but let me know if there are any other visualizations that would be helpful. If you made it this far, thanks for reading. And that got, just that final tweet in the thread got 148,000 views. Elon Musk responds, easily fixed by raising the minimum salary significantly and adding a yearly cost for maintaining the H-1B, making it materially more expensive to hire from overseas than domestically. I've been very clear the program is broken and needs major reform.
That's the part I'd push back on. I don't think he's been very clear.
When did he ever say jack shit about H-1B? You've been very clear to who? Yourself in the mirror? This is weird, dude.
No. And this is the program is corrupt. These tech companies are making bank by paying other people from overseas cheap. Like it's significantly cheaper to hire overseas using the H-1B program than to hire somebody American. And this is how I think it should be done. If it's really about the elite of the elite and you need those people, not for like to answer phones or run HR or be a janitor at a school or anything. If you really need somebody who is a specialist in his field and you can't get it here, then you pay them a worthy salary and you pay some sort of tariff on it. Like you pay a H-1B immigration tariff to bring them here. And that's how it's done. And that's it. Like nothing else.
Shouldn't it be a major priority to make sure that that sort of thing never happens and that we're never in the sort of position where we're like, oh no, we don't have an entire class of workers that we need to compete. That's 100%
crazy. And that's an indictment on our education system, which has been intentionally subverted and filled with H-1B visa holders who are exempt from the cap. By the way, if you work at a higher education institution, you are exempt from the cap.
You know, I think, and I don't want to belabor this stuff. I'm certainly not any kind of expert on immigration policy or immigration employment policy. But if there are H-1B visa employees working at the company of the leading Defense Department contractor, and maybe, John, maybe we should, I know you always have the Kash Patel clip, but I think that people should share this clip every day on X, formerly Twitter, and remind everyone who exactly is the person doing the talking. It's not just the very smart, funny guy who makes the robots. It's the nation's leading defense contractor. And the idea that we have a smarter, kinder, gentler, happier, funnier defense contractor who runs everything in our world, That's not some sort of reassuring thing that the guy like knows how to talk to us about cartoons.
Yeah, I actually I posted this on Twitter today, so you can go find it in my replies, because somebody's like, oh, actually, he's not the actual DoD contractor. And there's this whole back and forth, and the guy's like, well, I'm not going to believe a Fox News clip. And I was like, okay, well, you can believe Google. I'm just going to believe Kash Patel,
Wait, making it
a pseudonym sake. But here's the clip.
Yeah.
When I was over at DOD, we gave this guy.
That's Department of Defense.
Yeah, sorry.
Or DOD.
Yeah. He is doing some cool stuff in space and everything. He's doing a ton of stuff that you would think is so global. He is literally launching this thing called SatLink, which almost no one knows about, but he's been building for 5 years, which is free Wi-Fi for the world.
Which is amazing.
The world.
It's going to change everything.
And there again, no one's talking about it. You think the Democrats would be championing this, like, oh, I can be in Central Sahara, Africa, and get Wi-Fi on my $3 million phone.
Yeah.
But they're not. And if you've actually watched one of these satellite link uploads, it's like a string of pearls being dropped in the night sky. It's really cool. I mean, we're all paying for it. This is why he's so rich. DOD's biggest contractor is Elon Musk.
That's right. Oh, very interesting. I just learned something. I did.
I'll never get hired from him now. Can you edit that out?
Drop it on the floor. Joe.
There you go.
So we know that at least some of the companies are government linked. We know the technology started at DARPA for some of these companies. How can it be okay then to be bringing in foreign workers at the companies of the leading Defense Department contractor? Why should American government money be going to fund their employment? And if they're working at our defense contractor, shouldn't we just admit that we've already been subsumed into the global nation and that we're not actually a nation?
100%. I mean, they've been trying to get us to that point for generations.
Yeah.
Is it okay that our technologists are mercenaries? And actually, let me say one more thing about this. Trump said a few weeks ago, I guess, that that DOGE was going to be like the Manhattan Project. That's all fine and good in the surface interpretation, like the Manhattan Project. It got us the nuclear bomb, and the nuclear bomb was what won us World War II and what keeps us the most powerful nation on earth, bro. Except it wasn't that. It was a project conceived of at the Bohemian Grove, and it included Nazi and communist scientists that shared all their research with our enemies. And it was just basically a psyop to convince America that we actually won World War II. The whole thing is a complete duping. And so I'm sure Trump knows that. So when he says DOGE is the Manhattan Project, what exactly does he mean?
Well, he means that it is a well-funded project to do something super duper big.
Well, maybe to convince us that we actually won a war that we didn't win against the same people, really. Because, I look at this stuff and in a different light, if Trump hadn't come back, right? And everybody will, people have different ways that they interpret the plan and how much of this is a show and how much everything is under control. But let's say that Trump just moved off from the stage in January 2021 and they went along without him. And then he never announced that he was going to run for president again in this fake election. Well, then we would have President-elect Ron DeSantis, who stayed in Congress and became governor of Florida in 2022, 5 months after Andrew Gillum's gay escort meth binge pictures on the hotel floor. 5 months later, Ron, the outspoken COVID hero who brought up the articles of impeachment against Joe Biden, if Marjorie Taylor Greene wasn't brought in to play his role because he had to go be governor after Trump made him governor. If all of that had happened, Ron DeSantis would be president-elect right now, and Elon Musk and Vivek Ramaswamy would be giving the country a show about how Ron DeSantis and this new government with David Sachs and all the other super friends and Tulsi Gabbard and the rest of them would be doing all the stuff that Donald Trump already did and that SCOTUS made inevitable. So I don't know, man. This seems like it seems like sometimes there is the script that was meant to be playing, and that's all still playing. And then just Donald Trump is walking along, still on camera somehow, just getting in the shot all the time and throwing a wrench in the gears. And it seems like that's what's happening here, because the other scenario could still be playing out and it would be not that different.
Or maybe we should address what Trump has actually said about this previously, what he's done previously, because I think that's notable. We have, well, actually, first, before we do that, real quick, I want Patrick to read what Stephen Miller posted, because this seemed like a shot across the bow at what Vivek posted. I don't know if you guys read this, but this is he posted some of the transcript of, just read it, Patrick.
Yeah. Stephen Miller on Twitter. Transcript of President Trump speaking at Mount Rushmore on the eve of Independence Day 2020. Quote, above all, our children from every community must be taught that to be American is to inherit the spirit of the most adventurous and confident people ever to walk the face of the earth. Americans are the people who pursued our manifest destiny across the ocean, into the uncharted wilderness, over the tallest mountains, and then into the skies and even into the stars. We are the country of Andrew Jackson, Ulysses S. Grant, and Frederick Douglass. We are the land of Wild Bill Hickok and Buffalo Bill Cody. We are the nation that gave rise to the Wright brothers, the Tuskegee Airmen, Harriet Tubman, Clara Barton, Jesse Owens, George Patton, General George Patton, the great Louis Armstrong, Alan Shepard, Elvis Presley, and Muhammad Ali. And only America could have produced them all, no other place. We are the culture that put up the Hoover Dam, laid down the highways, and sculpted the skyline of Manhattan. We are the people who dreamed a spectacular dream. It was called Las Vegas in the Nevada desert, who built up Miami from the Florida marsh, and who carved our heroes into the face of Mount Rushmore. Americans harnessed electricity, split the atom, and gave the world the telephone and the internet. We settled the Wild West, won 2 world wars, landed American astronauts on the moon, and one day, very soon, we will plant our flag on Mars. We gave the world the poetry of Walt Whitman, the stories of Mark Twain, the songs of Irving Berlin, the voice of Ella Fitzgerald, the style of Frank Sinatra, the comedy of Bob Hope, the power of the Saturn V rocket, the toughness of the Ford F-150, and the awesome might of the American aircraft carriers. Americans must never lose sight of this miraculous story.
He posted this at 8:23 p.m. on the same day that that Vivek posted his culture post. Vivek's post was like 10 a.m. And this came later. That's Central Time Zone, by the way. So yeah, I consider this to be a shot across the bow because he's talking about culture. But then we also have like what Trump has actually said and done about the H-1B visa program. This was, I don't know which debate this was. This was 2016, though, I believe.
Well, first of all, I think, and I know the H-1B very well, and it's something that I frankly use, and I shouldn't be allowed to use. We shouldn't have it. Very, very bad for workers. And second of all, I think it's very important to say, well, I'm a businessman, and I have to do what I have to do, and it's sitting there waiting for you, but it's very bad. It's very bad for business in terms of, it's very bad for our workers, and it's unfair for our workers, and we should end it.
So there's that. And then we have a couple things Trump did. So he actually did 2 things when he was in office. I think it was 2017. He initiated the process of altering the H-1B program, but nothing actually took place. The way Bannon describes it is he was kind of met with the deep state, people, they fought him on it. But then he came back around to it, and it's described in this article that came out in October of this year, talking about the future of H-1B under a potential second Trump term. And so we'll just read the couple things that he actually did. So let's read down to here.
Attempted H-1B visa regulations from the first Trump administration. In its final days in office, the Trump administration issued a series of regulations aimed at restricting the use of the H-1B program as part of its implementation of Trump's April 2017 Buy American and Hire American executive order. The order laid the foundation for many of the policies Trump's administration pursued to restrict employment-based immigration programs. In a second Trump term, we would expect to see similar policy priorities. Increased wage requirements. The first of Trump's H-1B regulations was the October 2020 Department of Labor wage rule, an interim final rule that, effective immediately, significantly increased wage obligations for H-1B, H-1B1, E3, and PERM programs. The rule required that minimum salaries for foreign-born professionals be set far higher than what was typically paid to similar U.S. employees. No advance notice was given to employers who were left scrambling to adapt. The rule was blocked in federal court in December 2020, but had it not been, it likely would have had the effect of pricing H-1B visa holders and other employment-based immigrants out of the U.S. labor market.
So that's a good thing, I would say. Any comments on this so far?
It's great stuff, and he did it right before he left office.
Yep.
So the rule was blocked by a federal court. I think that's interesting. Was it challenged beyond that? Do we know, John? Did you have a...
I didn't find anything. I was going to look into that actually, but I did not yet. But I will. So we'll see. I wonder if it had something to do with, well, first of all, which court? Because this is obviously challenged by like the left.
Right, exactly. And, you know, there's a lot of things that we saw throughout 2020 that we were told this got challenged by a court, and the court stopped Trump from being able to do it. And whoops, it just so happens that 5 years later, it's getting done. You know, it's like the same thing as the TikTok ban. I am not thinking of the other examples right now, but I'm sure that we could find them. I'll think about it, and it'll come to me.
It looks like it was a Washington, D.C. federal judge.
Okay. Wait, does that say Emmett Sullivan?
There you go.
Yeah, man. Okay. So, you know.
There you go.
The court didn't actually block it. This rule's been in place. And now this conversation will be credited with actually getting this rule put in place and having the problem solved. And the American people will feel like they did it themselves. And we will all be happily dog walked into the Great Reset.
There we go. There's more though, so let's keep going. There's a second rule.
Narrow definition of specialty occupation. The Department of Homeland Security under the Trump administration also issued a second rule strengthening the H-1B non-immigrant visa classification program on October 8th, 2020, the same day the Department of Labor issued the wage rule. This IFR had a 60-day delayed effective date and therefore did not ignite the kind of chaos we saw following the wage rule. Although this rule was also blocked in court, the Trump administration still attempted to issue a final rule by posting the text of it online a week before President Biden's inauguration. Had the rule gone into effect, it would have narrowed eligibility for the H-1B visa, including by providing that a position must always require a degree in a directly related specific specialty to qualify as a specialty occupation. In addition, the rule would have heightened evidentiary requirements for positions involving third-party placements and shortened the validity period for those cases.
So far, so good. Both these things. I mean, ideally, we wouldn't have this at all. Like you said earlier, Chris, we would have a scenario in America where we educated the people for these positions and we don't need to bring in outside help. But so that's what Trump is approaching this, I think, in a good way. And it's interesting that he did this at the very end, almost as if he knew that Biden would come in and reverse all of it, or the judges would throw it out, whatever. And now we have this huge debate over it now, like some epic narrative seeding on the days Trump was implementing devolution. Pretty crazy. And then one more thing. Where's the... I think let's do this one.
Limited eligibility for early career professionals. Finalized in January 2021, the H-1B wage prioritization regulation would have reshaped the H-1B cap selection process and limited opportunities for early career professionals. The rule was scheduled to take effect March 9th, 2021, just before cap registration, but the Biden administration issued a notice on February 8th delaying the effective date. Although it never took effect, the U.S. Citizenship and Immigration Services regulation would have replaced the annual H-1B lottery with a new selection process that prioritized H-1B registrations based on the wage level the petitioning employer would pay the beneficiary. The proposed prioritization system would likely have eliminated eligibility for level 1 and many level 2 positions. Newly graduated international students would have been most impacted, as they are more likely to be hired into entry-level positions that offer level 1 and 2 wages. In September 2021, a federal court vacated the rule, and the Biden administration later withdrew it. Though President Biden did not signal support for a wage-based allocation process, USCIS did not take any action to pursue this policy during his administration.
There we go. So those are the three main things that Trump.
Those are excellent. I love those things. You just scale it back in big, big ways. Another thing that we need to do, we need to remove the incentive for universities to flood their classrooms with foreigners because the foreigners have to pay full tuition. That can't be right.
Well, there's a cap exemptions, like I said earlier, on universities. It's also on nonprofits, which I think is weird. I don't think there should be any exemptions, period. There should be no exemptions to any of this stuff, period. And, you know, there's some discussion earlier too about like specific unemployment rates in certain fields. And so that's why we need it. Like, you can't trust that data regardless. So like, I don't know why we're even talking about that, but it's the whole thing is like a big scam. And it's interesting it got highlighted now. Was it an op from the mainstream media to divide MAGA because Trump ran on a, remove all immigrations, and now we have this? Like, let's remove all illegal immigrants, and now with this big debate before Trump even gets inaugurated about the legal immigrants. And I don't know, it's this whole thing has been interesting and enlightening. That's why you have to make fun of it a little bit, in my opinion. Yeah, go ahead, Chris. You want to say something?
Yeah. The situation at the southern border, right? We think about these employees coming, not employees, sorry, these immigrants, these illegal aliens coming through from the southern border. And I've called this a slave trade many times. The global regime goes and they economically devastate an area. People are impoverished. Those impoverished people want a better life. They're recruited by NGOs. They're flown or shipped overseas to south of our border. They're handed off to cartels who bring them up to the border, where they're handed off to NGOs, and then NGOs place them with employment and housing and benefits and the rest of it. And they commonly go to work in hotels, or they work in factory farms or factories or whatever it is. It's intensive labor employment, and they're essentially in indentured servitude to pay off the cost of their coming through and whatever. And there's a whole bunch of other aspects of that. So that's for like people doing low level, low skilled labor work. But why would all of these other corporations want to pay full price for American workers if they can do the same thing and get the same labor input at a much reduced price by bringing in foreign laborers? And they can't do it the same way. They're not going to do these workers who are participants in the quote unquote knowledge economy are not going to make the same trip that a low skilled laborer is going to make to get into the country. So they need a plan that is legalized to bring them in. And it seems like that's what this is, but we're supposed to look at it totally differently, because this time it's the tech bros, and they're like, despite them being globalists, they're still cool, because we all like using tech in a really cool way. And so these guys can do whatever they need to do.
Yeah. And I'll say it again.
Real quick, Patrick, before you interrupt. People are still having issues with Rumble. Don't forget, you can watch us on YouTube. I think you just got to go search Badlands Media Clips.
Yeah, Badlands Media Clips. You can watch on YouTube
or on X.
As of right now on YouTube, we have 106 of you watching on Badlands Media Clips with all of the suppression that YouTube does.
Yep.
I got banned on YouTube a couple weeks ago. I had been streaming on there for 3 weeks and got banned. I got 2 strikes in a row. The first day I talked about Donald. Well, we're going to get ourselves banned on YouTube right now. Donald Trump was talking about the polio vaccine at his that press conference that he had like a week and a half ago. And so I talked about that. And then I went through all of YouTube's censorship policies after I got my strike.
You did the test. Yeah.
Yeah, of course.
I will never break YouTube policies again.
It's so crazy.
They give you a scenario and then multiple choices. Like,
No, I couldn't even complete the test.
Actually, I did a post about this a while ago, like 2 years ago when we first initially lost our first account. We're on like our fifth one now, fourth or fifth, I don't remember which. But yeah, anyway, guys, link is in the chat to YouTube. Go check it out. And you can watch over there. But Patrick, you were going to say something.
Yeah, I just wanted to say, and I've repeated this before, the entire philosophy behind this is the reason that the United States is such a great place to do business is because of the people. The people have been cut out of this arrangement. Bringing in foreign workers so that you can have slaves should not just be stopped. We need to make it a crime. It really bothers me. I understand Donald Trump saying, I have, quite frankly, I have used it. And of course he has. When you're competing in a marketplace, if your competitors have an advantage, you have to take that advantage, I suppose. I have a small business. I do not in any way hire a single person who is not an American citizen. And I have workers, and they're fantastic. I guess maybe I could find slaves. I mean, I don't really know if I would feel too good about myself if I had slaves. I don't really know how the tech bros tell themselves, okay, so no, these people really can't leave because if they try to leave my company, then I can just ship them back to, Bangalore. And then God knows if you've seen Bangalore, you don't want to go back there. So, it's just a horrifying way to treat people. It's trafficking. And I'm sick and tired of them being allowed to call it anything else.
Immigration visas like H-1B was not in the original Constitution. I will say that.
No.
But also, what does it truly mean to be America first? Like, is it putting profits over American citizens getting jobs? Is that an America first thing? That's what they're advocating right now.
Elon is telling us, you want America to win, right? Bro, what's this we stuff, pale face? All right, man, you're South African, dude. You came here, you're a globalist. You don't think of nations as being anything other than economic zones. And quite frankly, bro, you think of people in a way that sounds more like you're thinking about hardware and software. In fact, I think you said it outright at one point. So we really need to kind of push back on y'all tech bros. For America to win, we need you to learn your place. And right now you don't know your place. So the people is the purpose of the nation. You're not the people. Your company is not the people. You becoming the world's first trillionaire is not the people, okay? Let's just reorganize our priorities here, okay? Please and thank you.
Yep. And again, the whole thing could be an op. Like his whole point is to get Patrick to say something just like that. And that's perfect. But we don't know for sure. And so again, acknowledging it's likely an op or possibly an op or whatever doesn't change how we approach the facts of the matter in front of our face. And thank you, Boom Diggity, gifted 20 subscriptions. That is great.
Wow. That's awesome.
But to show you the part about Elon that I was concerned with over the last few days, let me show you this. This was crazy. There's some picture the guy posted out there. I don't even know what it was. I think it was somebody like made up a post of Elon Musk.
Yeah.
Like a fake post of something Elon Musk said, and Elon said he never said that. This is fake.
I think I can find that.
And Elon responds, that is a lie. Do you make this lie? USA Reject says, I found it elsewhere. Is it fake? Where did you find this lie? And then USA Reject says, it's posted on Reddit. My mistake. I didn't realize it was forged. Liar. Elon, I think there's an Indian dude who got a hold of his account.
Yeah, and maybe that's possible.
Well, then Elon went and deleted this guy's account.
I don't know, man.
That's the implication, of course. I mean, the guy could have deleted his own, account as well.
Well, Elon said he was going to track down who posted it.
Did he?
Yeah, I'll show you that.
I think Siddharth is the one who wrote these tweets.
I really wonder what's up with the whole Linda Yaccarino side of things. I mean, if Elon's running an op to show people that Twitter's still censored, wonderful. It is still censored.
It is, yeah, it is. No question about it that it's still being censored.
Yeah.
Taking away, it was a glitch apparently that caused all these people to lose their check marks.
Yes, exactly.
I don't know, man.
It sounds exactly like it sounded in 2020.
So
And let's think about what the moment that they're trying to censor. Sorry, Patrick.
Yeah.
We are, this is really quick, but we are coming up on the moment that the 4-year delta of Parler getting taken out, you know, the Amazon Web Services controversy, the January 6th thing. You know, we're coming to a January 6th certification that they're, you know, trying to call into question in whatever way. And then this inauguration that is supposedly going to be very real on January 20th. This would be a good time to be censoring people, one would think.
He might have deleted those posts too.
what Elon was saying that started all of this off before, I think it was before the Vivek meltdown, Elon made a really transparently specious argument. He said, of course, we would prefer to have Americans in all these roles. I mean, duh. Greetings, fellow patriots. But we just can't find them all the time. And you have to have the top 1% of engineering talent in the world. And then he reduced that to 0.1%. And then I think at some point somebody said 0.01% or some bullcrap like that. And it was a specious argument because all you have to do is open up the H-1B visa data, and you know that that's not the case. You can find the same is the case with Tesla postings for H-1B job requirements. They're not trying to find the best of the best. They're trying to find like sales managers and shit. So give me a break. Nothing like that was true. He had to have known that MAGA would point that out.
You'd think so.
Yeah.
So you want to read what's on the screen too? This is another one that people got real upset about.
Oh, yeah, but can you scroll up to see what he's referring to?
Oh, sorry.
Patrick, before we do this, is it possible, like regarding what you just said about Elon would have to know that? I would grant you that Elon would have to know that. But there's a lot of people around Elon and of similar status because they are seen as part of that peer group that I don't believe would have to know that. That wouldn't have the access to the data that Elon obviously has access to, watching people's reactions in real time. I'm sure that all of this is in some way aggregated so that he can watch, like they have that little thing that reads the audience reaction during the debates. Ooh, this was the special moment when everybody turned their knobs to the right. But the rest of them probably don't have that. And we've seen some of the commentary on what MAGA actually is and what Trump supporters actually represent from some of the other Twitterati. Elon's responding and kind of highlighting their answers. They don't seem to have any clue about what MAGA actually thinks or how many people there actually are and how many people those viewpoints represent. And so I wonder if maybe Elon is not totally in tune with that because despite the data, his peer group all reinforces the opposite picture of the world.
Yeah, peer group is a huge deal. And after seeing some of these tech bros open their mouths, Scott Adams, he's on the screen right there. He interviewed Jason Calacanis. Is that his name?
Yeah.
All right. Guy from the All In podcast, really big, just a foolish fellow, a big dork, and a guy of very obviously limited faculties, just a mediocrity through and through. Mm-hmm. And he was utterly ignorant of what any MAGA thought about anything. He was just a dipshit who read the New York Times.
Yep.
Those people are the people on top economically right now. That's an unsustainable state of affairs, by the way. These people are terrible. They have to be replaced.
They're also on top in terms of Twitter popularity.
Oh, 100%. That's because it's all who Elon responds to. This Neera Tanden is a Democrat operative. She works in the Biden administration. She makes this whole appeal about how she's an Indian American, all these things, and like tries to play on the racism that they are accusing everything of going on, whatever. And this is how Scott responds, Patrick.
But hold on, for Neera Tanden, man, she is out there on the edge. She's like old school Clinton stuff, Obama stuff. She actually, I think, had to go through a nomination process during the illegitimate Biden administration and wasn't even able to make it through because her stuff just blew up in public too damagingly.
Right now, she's the director of the United States Domestic Policy.
That's probably a position he was just able to appoint her for. Go ahead, and I'll look this up.
Okay, let me go back to that post.
Sorry to cut you off, Patrick.
And by the way, even before you that, Patrick, this is the post he deleted this, and the guy who posted it deleted it, but I know it was there because I went and looked at it. And in the replies, he was trying to find out who posted it originally because he said he was going to go ban them. And let me show you this. I just found the tweet. This is the most damning post of everything over the last few days. No wonder he has deleted it. And it was some bullshit. It wasn't real. But Elon said, this fake is a deliberate lie. Did you make it?
He didn't say, did you make it? He said, do you make it? Dude, that's broken English, man.
I mean, I mistype on.
No,
X
you
quite a
don't
bit.
type like that's how Indians type, dude. That's how that is there's an Indian dude writing those tweets.
Nice bobs.
My name is
So Neera Tanden was actually put up for to lead the Office of Management and Budget, which is Russ Vaught's job, and her nomination was withdrawn by the fake president before the hearing because of public scandal. So
Joe Manchin announced he would not vote in favor. That's interesting.
Okay. So Scott Adams replies to Neera Tanden saying, I feel so unloved because she's Indian and now she feels mad. And Scott Adams writes, MAGA is taking a page from Democrats on how to lose elections while feeling good about themselves. To which Elon Musk says, yes, those contemptible fools must be removed from the Republican Party, root and stem.
By the way,
I can't even be mad about it anymore. It's just so on the nose. Now, Scott Adams is a dickweed, but I think Elon's part of the op. It's just a gut feeling. I could be wrong.
I would go watch Wednesday's episode if you haven't yet. And we went pretty in depth on the interesting things around Elon and why he's got to be part of an op. It's the most likely scenario. It's still possible he's not. But the fact that he was deleting accounts on Twitter, like I said before, that is the concerning thing to me. The free speech thing. He's pretending and pushing himself as this free speech advocate, but that it doesn't seem to be the case. But I did want to point out here, Patrick, this Neera Tanden, her nomination was tanked because she called some people names. She called Susan Collins the worst. She compared Ted Cruz to vampires and said Mitch McConnell was Moscow Mitch and comparing him to Lord Voldemort.
I mean, that's some pretty tame shit.
If you ever want to work in the White House, Patrick, I would encourage you to go through your.
No, it's over for me. It's over. That ship has sailed. I'd have to be elected president if I ever want to work in the White House.
Yeah, and I would still like to say Trump. I posted this and I stand by it. Trump could solve the whole debate if he just makes Indiana the 53rd state.
It's a good point.
What are you going to call it?
John is making
Indiana.
Indiana, guys. You can't teach that level of pun.
You can't. It's a dad joke pun. Yeah.
Indiana.
Yeah, there's some other good ones. There's some other really good ones in here. Indiana. New Delhi. There's one really fun. Indianapolis. I thought that was good too. It's capital.
Of course.
Yeah. Anyway, anything else on this topic? Because there are a couple other things we should probably talk about.
Only that I think Donald Trump appears to be kind of fixing things, right? You've got Elon saying it needs to be reformed, it needs to be fixed, and that's all that matters at this point. We need to focus on the illegals. What riled us up was this whole, we need to remove the caps on H-1B. Why did they do that other than to cause this, dude?
I don't know.
I just want to punt all of these people as far as I can down the field. Like, there's no reason. First of all, we did not need any of these tech bros or any of those Twitter scumbags who are constantly just attempting to fillet Elon Musk all day long. We didn't need any of them to win a fake election. We don't need their support now. They're not smart. They don't know what's going on at all. They've been clueless for absolutely this whole time. So the faster that they exit, the better. And I don't care about unity at all. Like, you unify around proper positions. You don't unify so that we can reach a point of compromise that makes us feel like we have some majority that means that we can like bully the other side into submission. We already have enough people in just MAGA that we can bully all of the establishment on both sides of the uniparty into submission forever. And it turns out that's the actual mission. So there's no reason to be trying to unify with the based and red-pilled people at the Daily Weimar.
Yeah. Well,
Just a psychop.
You don't unify around a person, because then you will forgive that person when they do unforgivable things or say unforgivable things or advocate for unforgivable positions. The mega movement that Trump is the face of is not about Trump. Like, we don't even necessarily unify around the things Trump pushes, because if we did, we'd all be vaccinated. He has pushed the vaccine, and by doing so, I think he taught us to think for ourselves, which is what we should be doing in every situation.
And you know what's crazy is, as soon as the New York Post ran an article with a Donald Trump quote that may or may not be real, and let's just assume it is, right? I'm not trying to like make a big deal about the realness of the quote, although the New York Post has said a bunch of things that aren't true. As soon as that happens, everybody's like, see, Trump says that H-1B visas are okay. Take that, MAGA. Moronic.
Yeah.
Yeah. Donald Trump is, I think he did do that phone call, because if you look at how he's quoted, yeah. H-1B, yeah, good stuff. Good stuff. Love it. Yeah, H-1B. I've used it myself. You know, I hear that Melania even came over on an H-1B before upgrading to an EB1 or whatever RoboCop designation that they give these stupid visas. But it sounds like it's the way he negotiates. I remember he was doing a big roundtable with senators at the White House, and he answered yes to every single senator's request. He said yes to everything. Dianne Feinstein said, I'll just ask the question. I'll ask the question, Mr. President. Could we have a clean bill where we, I don't know, like legalize all MS-13 gang lords or something, whatever it was that she was after? And he said, yeah, sure. Next. So he has a thing that he does when he's in a big fat negotiation where he just yeses everybody to death just to get just to figure out where they stand.
Mm-hmm.
And I think that was part of it. I don't feel bad about what's going on right now, despite Elon acting a damn fool yesterday. I mean, like meltdown level shit.
Here's another thing about Trump, too. Trump is the only player on the game board that we know for a fact is operating in a different level. Like, we know for sure he's operating in a different battle space, one that the media puts forth. We know he's doing ops. We know he's publicly negotiating. He gets like the free pass to do whatever he can say whatever. I don't give a shit what he says to the New York Post. It doesn't change how I'm going to feel about something that I know to be morally wrong. Like, that's the truth. We're going to operate with that truth. And then let's see what Trump actually does when he gets in there, because it might be completely different from what he said in the phone call to John Levine at the New York Post.
Also, it's just, let me say one last thing about the Elon Musk comments with that contemptible fool's remark. You know, he said we must remove these people from the Republican Party, and then followed it up talking about how the racists need to be removed from the Republican Party. Like, what are you talking about? Who cares about the Republican Party? There should not be any parties. The faster there are no parties, the better off we are. Well, if there were no political parties, they wouldn't. What's that?
I like to party a little bit.
Why?
Some parties. Dart parties are pretty great.
Okay, but that's not, but not political.
I was just being stupid. I'm sorry.
Yeah. Okay.
I like to snort ketamine.
Okay, well, that takes the whole conversation in a different direction. The uniparty is able to persist because we have the illusion of actual political opposition because of the two-party system. And it doesn't matter how many other parties would be added. If it was a 10-party system, it would still be the same thing. The point is no political parties whatsoever.
I don't see how that happens. People group together when they're doing battle.
This is the mindset here too, Kick Dreaming. Well, by the way, you're always in the chat. We appreciate you watching your sports. I'm not picking on you. I just want to point out this is a common theme. I see this a lot. Like, infighting is a bad look for us.
Bad look? What does that mean?
Who's it look bad to?
Yeah, who cares?
Like, why do we care about what people perceive from? Why do we care about what the irrelevant liberal media says about the MAGA party or what's happening on Twitter over this debate.
It's this constant idea that we're like at war with quote unquote the left. Most of the people in center right media are the left. Okay. If you are a statist or a collectivist, you're on the left. And it doesn't matter that you say things about anti-wokeness or you finally talk about illegal immigration, just not enough to stop it. You're on the left. If you're a statist, if you're groveling before the government, if you're pretending that fake elections are real, you're a leftist.
I'm sorry about interrupting you. There's multiple comments.
No, we made it through just fine.
Yeah. My bad. All right. Let's Patrick, do you want to do first horror for likes and then another?
Yeah, guys, do us a favor. Hit the like button on this. Really helps us when you do that. Gets us all the way to the top of the leaderboard on Saturdays. And that gives us bragging rights and, puts us in front of a whole bunch of eyeballs. Guys, go to tulipblooms.shop. We are doing an amazing sale on the life-changing castor blend. Castor is a suppressed remedy. I know you know that. We are seeing results that you wouldn't believe. We are seeing fine lines disappearing. I certainly am. I'm having like any bumpiness that's on my forehead just disappears. It smooths my skin like nothing I've ever used. It's castor oil, amaranth oil, argan oil, apricot kernel oil, vitamin E oil, and an essential oil blend. The smell is amazing. Check it out. We're doing 25% off of everything at tulipblooms.shop. This is the end of year. Everything must go sale. Get it while it's hot. Those of you who've placed orders, we're shipping everything Monday. We had to get some special boxes to go on these glass jars because they're fragile and you don't want them to break in shipment. So they're all shipping out. Check it out, tulipblooms.shop. 25% off everything. Expires Monday at midnight. Use promo code BADLANDS. You get an extra 10% off, so that's 35% off. And then off of that, 25% more goes into an account that pays Badlanders' salaries. What am I doing? I'm out of my mind. Go to tulipblooms.shop. Get the amazing castor blend, rainfall, body butter, all of it. Promo code BADLANDS.
You are certainly out of your mind, Patrick.
I get that a lot.
Again, more comments about the Rumble situation. I understand it. We know there's an issue. I'm not sure what's going on. I can't fix it right now. Go watch on X or YouTube if it's that bad. Okay, so we apologize, but nothing we can do. Let's talk about this article because they're running this op again, and we've been talking about this for well over a year. Them doing something just like this ever since Jamie Raskin in February started that. He was at that fundraiser, whatever he was, think tank. He was on a panel and he was talking about doing exactly this, using Congress, Section 3 of the 14th Amendment to prevent Trump, if he's elected, from actually being inaugurated. And so let's read through some of this, Patrick, and I have a Twitter thread we can read through as well, or I can just hit the highlights. It's probably kind of boring, but whatever. Let's read through this.
Way to sell it. Congress has the power to block Trump from taking office, but lawmakers must act now. The Constitution provides that an oath-breaking insurrectionist is ineligible to be president. This is the plain wording of Section 3 of the 14th Amendment to the Constitution. No person shall hold any office, civil or military, under the United States or under any state who, having previously taken an oath to support the Constitution of the United States, shall have engaged in insurrection or rebellion against the same, or given aid or comfort to the enemies thereof. This disability can be removed by a 2/3 vote in each house.
Let's skip down to, we don't even need to read any more of this. I'm just scanning, but well, yeah, let's just read here.
First, the majority's suggestion that there must be new implementing federal legislation passed pursuant to the enforcement power specified in the 14th Amendment is what lawyers call dicta. Dicta are the musings of an opinion that are not required to decide the case. The holding that Section 3 is not self-executing may be an alternate holding, but thoughts about the kind of implementing statute required are plain dicta. Dicta are not precedential, not presidential, precedential, as in of precedent. The 4 dissenters strenuously objected to this part of the opinion as overreach to decide a question not presented. This overreach is a power grab which Congress is not required to credit.
We'll just stop here with this, because
can you explain that, John? Though, because the disability can be removed by 2/3. So if all of a sudden somebody's declared ineligible because he's a dirty insurrectionist, Congress can override that with a 2/3 vote. However, is there anything in the amendment that explains how you go about determining whether or not somebody is an insurrectionist?
Well, that's the thing. Congress just gets to decide. So this is what's interesting about, remember, it was like a week before the election, we went through the Electoral Count Reform Act and transition, whatever. It passed in the 2022 NDAA, and it made some changes. And this is what I posted about on Twitter. We'll go to this, because I kept it fairly short, so it's pretty straightforward. We anticipate they're going to do something, right? It's been awfully quiet from the left. It wouldn't be shocking if they tried this, especially with how they kind of finagled their way during the 2024 election. They are within the margin of error, I would say, especially when you throw in the Uniparty and other people who are threatened by Trump's existence as president. We could see a narrative play out where they actually pull some shit. Okay. The threshold, though, was raised. If you remember back in 2020, all you needed was one person from the House and one person from the Senate to sign on to an objection for states' electoral votes, and the House would have to go debate for each one of those states. All you needed was one. And then I think you just needed a simple majority to vote on it. And I might have even misquoted that in this. But now the threshold has been raised. You need 1/5 of the members of each chamber. The Democrats certainly have that vote. So they could get to this point. They could get to the point where they object and one person from each chamber, or 1/5 from each chamber, agree, and they have to go to the House to deliberate. That's where it gets a little more interesting. I don't think they can get the majority or 2/3 that they need to actually do something here. Where it gets interesting is there's been some talk about Speaker of the House and the drama surrounding Mike Johnson, because people want him removed. They don't think that we might not have a Speaker of the House come January 6th. That's what some rumor is. If that's the case, I don't know how those votes play out. Like, how does the House vote on something if they don't have a speaker? I mean, they're grown adults. You think they'd be able to figure something out, but based on the rules, the word on the street is that might not be able to happen, which would be fascinating.
Well, I think the rationale is that Mike Johnson wouldn't be able to call the joint session of Congress into session.
Well, that's part of it, but then also
if there's not a speaker.
Yeah, but then also when the House goes on their own, like they couldn't vote on it. So either way, the rumor is, I think it was what's the guy's name? Chad Pegsman.
Pergram.
Chad Pergram on Twitter there's a video posted. He's saying, well, if that situation happens and we don't have a speaker, then it's Chuck Grassley as the president pro tempore of the Senate who would become the president.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, it's certainly possible that it plays out that way. I don't know. When it comes to this whole situation about them trying to pull some Section 3, 14th Amendment bullshit, I come back to this part of the Supreme Court ruling from Colorado when they ruled on that. And this is worth the read, Patrick. Start with the patchwork paragraph.
Patchwork that would likely result from state enforcement would, quote, sever the direct link that the framers found so critical between the national government and the people of the United States as a whole. U.S. term limits, 514 U.S. at 822. But in a presidential election, quote, the impact of the votes cast in each state is affected by the votes cast, or in this case, the votes not allowed to be cast, for the various candidates in other states. An evolving electoral map could dramatically change the behavior of voters, parties, and states across the country in different ways and at different times. The disruption would be all the more acute and could nullify the votes of millions and change the election result if Section 3 enforcement were attempted after the nation has voted. Nothing in the Constitution requires that we endure such chaos, arriving at any time or different times up to and perhaps beyond the inauguration.
I think this is them signaling like they wouldn't allow some bullshit like that to stand, because you got to know if they did do this, it would be challenged to SCOTUS on a emergency basis. They would get there quickly, and I got to imagine they wouldn't put up with it. So they can try. I hope they do. I think the TV for it would be fascinating, but I don't think
I would say a couple of things. Well, first would be that if we are right about the last 4 years and there is devolution or something like it in place, then all of this is a narrative only formality and a show that the country will have displayed to them so that they can understand what's happening as this transition of power takes place.
Agreed.
This sort of machination that is a conspiracy theory, if it weren't printed in the Hill and instead it was printed on like a QAnon, right? Exactly. You know, if this theory was printed in some independent outlet, this would be flagged as disinformation and called a conspiracy theory. This isn't how the leaders of countries are determined. And we've spent significant time on that in the last few years, and elections aren't either, by the way. But people who are at playing the global game on a higher level than this are already living ahead of this in an informational timeline sense. So unless they find a real way to take Trump out and are willing to engage that level of chaos, then I mean, stuff like this just isn't going to happen. But we might see it narratively. Like we might see a push for this to happen. They might be able to delay the process and then we see it sent to the courts or something. That, I mean, how the hell do I know what's going to happen?
What you said there, though, like maybe they will try to do something like this and how'd you say it, embrace that level of chaos?
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, if they want to throw the country into turmoil and try to pull a BLM while we have this going on, or try to say that we got attacked or that Israel got attacked, they're going to like bring all their things together at once and give us 4 pandemics. And I mean, at some point, don't they have to throw like everything at it at once?
Yeah. Well, and that's my point on that, where I was going with that. I loved how you phrased it, because I feel like if they were going to do that and put us through that chaos because they needed to or were required to, I feel like they would have done that with the election. They still have the ability to steal them, right? So if you're going to try to do something to remove Trump, why not do it there?
But the thing is, the nation, and this is what we talked about, too big to rig, narratively speaking, the nation wasn't going to accept the idea that Kamala, who wasn't even a real candidate in a fake campaign, which is crazy. Like, we have the fake campaign, we had the 2 real candidates in the fake campaign, and then we got a fake candidate in the fake campaign. The country was not going to accept that she won the election. I mean, these guys are just trying to figure out some way to make the country believe that she won the election somehow after the fact. So that's, I mean, that would be my response. They couldn't have done it then because they understood that the country would have never gone along with that.
And for the same reason, they wouldn't accept this either. Like, for the same reason, I would say this wouldn't, nothing they can do at this point would work, narratively or actually.
Would work to convince the country that they have legitimately held on to government in some way, right? But then the level of chaos they would have to embrace would be something more kinetic, where they would put their BLM, Antifa, domestic terrorists in the streets, try to cause chaos and destabilize people's communities, see if there was then a reaction to that and something to go off of there. So
I don't know why. Like, congrats to you, 12-pack. Yeah, I agree with you. I like what you said there. But I don't think they're willing to actually do it. And it's funny because while some of these outlets are trying to push these theories and try to figure out a way for them to remove Trump, other outlets and some even from the Hill are like, Trump's already president. Trump's being super presidential, meeting with all these people, and Biden's disappeared. They're contradicting themselves. Patrick, you got anything?
Yeah, I think that we're headed towards something. I don't know what it's going to look like. They could be trying to get us into a chaos situation. I just think it's been gamed out, so I'm not worried about it.
Yeah.
When it first happens, I'll freak out. So you can enjoy
you were
that.
A little testy the last couple of days. You were much more calm today on this stream about the immigration stuff.
I've been very worried. I've been very worried about too many immigrants. We need to stop this shit. Civil society is a fragile thing, and its bedrock is the culture of its people. And you can't preserve that if you flood them with another culture, especially ones that do not have the same values.
I was just my comment was more on like in one of our chats even said like I feel like it's election day again or something.
Dude, I was freaking out when Elon came out just before the show, like a couple hours before the show, and started sounding sane again. I felt a lot better. Dude, it was like, Daddy went off to get cigarettes and Mommy was into her pills again, That's what it felt like. I was like, whoa, Elon, what have you been? Ketamine is for horses, man. And he was just acting like a psychopath. And that was really harsh. It was damaging my calm, bro.
Yeah. Well, I'm
it was
proud
harsh
of you.
in your mellow.
You were good tonight. Very well behaved. Ash makes a great point here. If the justice phase is real, would they do anything less than everything to stop it?
Exactly.
That's a great point. All right, what else are we going to talk about tonight? Is there anything?
That weirdo tweet, that weirdo Truth Social post from Donald Trump.
Oh, yeah, we could. Does anybody have that handy?
I just did.
I can snag it.
Oh, John, the two links I put in the StreamYard chat both have it. The Mediaite and Independent UK.
You just want to pull all the very
I'll
first
pull it up.
Yeah, you pull them up because I see now.
So this is Mediaite. Trump confuses with odd Truth Social post about Bill Gates, Mar-a-Lago, and New Year's Eve. We miss you and X.
Yeah. What?
Wait, hold on. Sorry. Where are you?
The post is in this article, John.
Yeah, I'm reading it right now.
Okay.
It's interesting. I think you should say what you said earlier because a lot of people are trying to decode this stuff.
Mhm.
Like, what does this mean? What you said before the show was the best explanation I could think of.
Okay.
For this.
Well,
So yeah, say it.
So Joe Lang had a take on it, and I love Joe and I love his work, but I don't agree with him about his take. He thought it was that Trump was talking about Bill Gates and Bill Gates's ex being Melinda Gates, and then was digging on that stuff. And I thought it was very interesting, but I don't think that's the right reading. It's at least not my reading. I think he means X, like Elon's son X, who was at Mar-a-Lago, I think the last time Elon was there. This sounds like Trump is just texting his buddy, seeing if he's going to come hang out at his castle for his New Year's party. Like, are you coming down Monday? Are you coming down Tuesday? So he just says, where are you? When are you coming to the quote unquote center of the universe, as someone has called it before? I bet if we look back to Elon Musk, he's probably called Mar-a-Lago the center of the universe, or maybe they've been joking about it being called that. So he says, when are you coming down to Mar-a-Lago? Bill Gates asked to come tonight. We miss you and X. So that just sounds like we miss you, Elon, and your son X. New Year's Eve is going to be amazing, DJT. So come on down. We're going to have a great time bringing in the new year. It just sounds like he's texting his friend and sent it out on a public Truth Social rather than a private text or maybe a private Truth Social post. Maybe Elon is on there and hidden. I don't know. And yes, I understand that Trump has intent when he posts these things. Maybe that was just plausible deniability that he was trying to send a private text. Oh, it's very confusing. We have Kofefe. I mean, he's done this sort of thing before. So all good. I can happily read into it, the intentionality. But along with the Bill Gates thing, there was also this that I kind of thought was interesting today. And we don't have to go through the whole post, but this account on X, formerly Twitter, died suddenly, talked about Burks on CNN and how Bill Gates wants to form this international task force, wanted money from Trump, and wanted to have a meeting at Mar-a-Lago about that. So I don't know. Maybe they have pandemic stuff coming up and Trump just wanted to highlight all these things and blow up some narratives. I don't know.
Yeah, I agree with what you said there. So especially the X being in there, like UNX, that being Elon's son, like this does sound like he meant to just text it to him and he accidentally posted on True Social or posted on True Social on purpose, whatever the reason. It sounds like a text to a friend. I will try to find a post.
I won't for a moment think that he did that by accident, though. I do believe it's possible that he wants to create the impression of accidentally putting a message out there. But anybody who actually believes that, wouldn't you have deleted it by now? I don't know. It's just, it's too much for me to believe.
Well, it also makes it clear that he's not mad at Elon.
Unless we don't know he's talking to Elon.
Well, I mean, in that interpretation.
He could be talking to all sorts of people. Like, here's somebody, Nick Iarossi, a Florida-based lobbyist and Republican fundraiser, stated Mar-a-Lago and Palm Beach have become the center of the universe of power. That's from Yahoo News. Maybe he's just a freaking friend.
When was this posted? Was it yesterday?
The Trump post was yesterday.
Okay. Interesting.
Could be all sorts of stuff. He could be trying to highlight a particular individual. Oh, I just said particular individual like we're in Idiocracy.
I'm going to try to find something here.
You mean like Bill Gates?
Yeah. He's trying to highlight Bill Gates. Bill Gates wants to come. Man, I don't know what it is. Bill Gates is a scumbag, belongs in prison. We all agree. We took a poll of this audience, and right now, if I'm not mistaken, there's something like almost 12,000 of you watching. I think 99% of you would say you want Bill Gates in prison.
Yeah.
I do know Elon has said a lot about like when they're calling Mar-a-Lago the White House already. He's commented on that a lot, like basically saying, yeah, basically is. So maybe, yeah, your read on that I think is spot on, but who knows? It's interesting. You don't need to always overanalyze every little thing, you know. I think you can get bogged down in some of that stuff, but anyway, anything else? Otherwise, we can go through some rants.
I love rants, and guess what, John? I pulled them all up. I'm
so proud of you.
Thank you. I have to go to a different browser because the attachment or the extension is not in. I only have it in what do you call it? Brave, right?
Yeah.
I don't have it in Chrome. So
we do have, what's the date today? The 28th. So 1027 JS left a $150 rant, but it said Merry Christmas. So that might have been the other day. And then, oh, by the way, guys, we are going to be doing on Tuesday a New Year's Eve stream. I know there's Eye of the Storm. I believe they are going to, I guess I don't want to say what they're going to do, but should be carrying on as normal, but there will also be a standalone New Year's Eve stream like we do every year. So
we also have Badlands Story Hour on Tuesday. It will be G Money and I doing Darren Aronofsky's Pi. Very interesting film about numerology among.
I saw that in the theater in Austin back in 1995.
That's kind of hipster.
I was a mathematics major, and then I saw it.
Did you enjoy it?
No, I hated every minute of it. It was the stupidest thing I'd ever seen.
We also have a $500 boost to the whole Badlands company. So I want to read this from Doc21 says, I listen to you most every day. Thank you for being a great alternative.
How much boost?
It's $500.
Holy crap. Thank you.
Yes. Thank you, Doc21. And if we missed you guys gifting subs in the stream, thank you so much. We do truly appreciate that. It's a great way to support us. But yeah, let's go through the rants, man.
Let's do it. All right. Opening up my rant list. Here we go. $1. Okie dokie for God. I challenge you to get 10 recent high school graduates to count change back on a $100 bill. Thank you for your chat. $10. TCS 1964. I work at a medical school with many H-1B faculty members. The physician shortage, especially in certain specialties, is a significant issue for medical schools. Okay, then. $1. Custard one must be an guys. Every single Western nation has a legal backdoor way to bypass immigration laws. You have H-1B. Here in Australia, we have 457 visas, massively exploited in both places. I'm sure. I agree.
Wait, Patrick, what's the first one that you got?
Oh, the first one I got is Okie Dokie for God for $1.
Okay, you missed like 8 of them. So let me read these quick. God Good is $51. Love you guys. Rarely get to listen live. Happy New Year. Thank you. Dirk McGurkin, visas are your MasterCard. Like that. Bobby 1960, for specialized engineer type, shouldn't they be talking about an O visa?
O1.
They should be, but they're not.
Yeah.
Dirk McGurkin again. We need to separate sandboxes because not everybody knows not everybody knows not to shit in the sandbox. Yeah, that's a good one, Dirk. God Good is again the same rant. Love you guys. Rarely get to. Maybe that's a glitch. I don't know. Micro Tool Maker. I really believe that Badlands for $117. By the way,
nice.
Thank you. I really believe that Badlands holds a position in the future and even now of becoming the place that everyone goes to for information in the quest for truth. Where we go one, we go all. Thank you. It's a great rant. John in Connecticut says free trade equals globalism. Free enterprise equals natural right within your body, politic, nation state. Yep. And then the last one here, Susie B. Patriot. Yay, Patrick, you need a chill pill. Stop dividing MAGA. We need to trust Trump. I love you, but please know MAGA needs to be strong and not emotional. I should not have read that one. I'm sorry. Let's just keep going. But thank you for the rant.
It was going so well. Just don't do anything, man. But just seriously, don't say stuff like that. It's really, really stupid. All right. Anyway, $10. Valseco 16. Is this the first time MAGA has been challenged by a MAGA oligarch? How's it going for them? We know what we stand to lose, and billionaires aren't on our radar. Yeah, it really is. This Scott Adams put it like the country with the most engineers wins. How can you fucking coexist with people who say shit like that? Anyway, $1. Sleep State. We need a movement to create a new generation of geniuses. Genius can be taught. Get rid of TikTok, Diddy, gay pedo rap, woke indoctrination. If we succeed, we won't need H-1B. We don't need H-1B right now. Anyway, $25. Truffle freedom. Possibly. Eternal freedom. Eternal freedom. Got it. Today is my birthday. Thank you very much for the super chat. The world has been going crazy yet again, and happy birthday. But in my world, the day was okay, sprinkled with amazing. These days, that's a big win. God bless. Thank you very much, Eternal Freedom.
Thank you.
Happy birthday.
And happy birthday. $5. Valseco 16. Is this a secondary op to drive a wedge with cash? They love racial divide.
I mean, maybe it could be, but it's not going to work.
Yeah, it's not. It's really not. $5. Mrs. A. Watley. I'm trying to figure out how to get my Badlands subscription back on Rumble. I'm confused because I'm still subbed to Badlands Locals, but my badge isn't showing. Been a subscriber over 2 years now.
Yeah, sorry, I'm not sure.
I don't know how to fix that.
We don't have tech support, and we're trying to hire one from India, but it's not here yet, or it hasn't been approved. But once it is, we'll be able to help you.
We will post for you. All right. This is a glorious thing. We do need a tech support person. $2. Dirk McGurkin. Tech bros need to have their toilets clean too. I mean, come on. $20. Robert L. I think it's time we look at a lot of these laws. Congress passed laws to help the tech bros, and in return, the tech bros all donate money for congressman's reelection. Doge bros played a role.
I love how everybody's saying tech bros now. Like that was the win that we got out of this whole thing. Nobody was saying tech bros before, but now everybody is calling Elon, Vivek, and all these guys tech bros, and that's a win.
It's so derisive. It's so contemptuous. I adore it.
Yeah.
$10. Susan VN. Hearing all of these perspectives has been very helpful. Thanks. And thank you, Susan.
Thank you, Susan.
$17. Crane Op 59. Know how to gift subs? Question. How do you gift premiums?
A great question. No idea.
Bro, that would be so good.
Well, Rumble said that they were going to get us like our own like link where people could buy premium and we get a cut and they get premium.
Amazing.
They haven't been able to pull it off yet. Like I'm told it's coming.
Because it's cheaper than a Netflix subscription. And for those of you who use Rumble a lot, in my opinion,
very worth it.
It's a good value.
Yep. But as of now, we don't get a cut. But I still encourage you to support Rumble. I mean, that's great. But
yeah. $20, 1027JS. Happy Friday. More like Friday. Am I right? Thank you, Joe.
And it's Saturday. So, but thank you, Joe.
Oh, shit.
Yeah. And I think she corrects it in the next one.
$10, 1027 JS. Oops, Saturday. I didn't know any different.
Thank you, Joe.
$50. Thank you so much. Boom diggity. Any chance this H-1B issue could be to highlight Mayorkas or DHS? I'm clueless on this issue. And then, yeah, the USCIS Gov link. John, you see it?
Yeah, we went over that earlier. That's the thing they did on December 17th to streamline the process.
$5. Honeypot Hounds coming in late. I don't really disagree with Vivek premise. The TV did hypnotize a lot of us. I agree to disagree there, sir. Vivek's premise is freaking blinkered, benighted, dumb. $17, Cranop 59. John, never mind. If you received gift sub in confirming email, Rumble includes a gift code for 1 month free premium.
There you go. That's awesome. Thank you, Cranop.
Okay. You know, it's different from giving us a cut of all these premium subscriptions, but what else? $1. The Abe Theory 21 for Patrick. Whenever something crazy happens, I always have this acronym. Freak out, understand what's going on, create a solution, keep it together. The acronym spells fuck it, for those of you who weren't reading along.
That's awesome.
5. Oh, John, what about that Make America A H-1B CGA? What the fuck was that?
Yeah, Ash texted me about that, and I didn't see it in time while you guys were live, but I meant to put a V instead of a C because it's supposed to be like Make America and H-1B visa holders great again or something. So I was just making fun of it.
H-1B visas.
It was supposed to be a V, not a C.
So when they suggested that you had mistyped, I said, you know, I know John Harold. John Harold is a friend of mine. John Harold's attention to detail is outstanding. I highly doubt that it was a typo. So anyway, that's how that.
It's possible I didn't mistype. I just can't remember what the word was. So when I was going back, I was like, what the hell was that C? And so I looked at the keyboard and it was next to the V. It said it must have been Visa.
$5.
Thank you. I appreciate that compliment.
I wondered exactly what dark MAGA meant. Now I know. To Chris's point, I constantly remind those demanding unification. Did Jesus ever instruct us to meet Satan halfway? No, he did not. No, we should not.
Can't compromise with these evil fucks. That's how we got here.
Yes. Yes. No compromise. Not when it comes to us having a nation. Well, if you have the most engineers, you win. Oh my God. Just no coexisting with that. $2. Nan Ander 7. Today's my B-Day too. Great show, guys. And happy birthday. $15. Mighty Brush 68. Patrick. Your shirt looks like someone shit on a chain link fence.
Oh my God, it does.
Love you guys.
That's awesome.
I don't care. I love this shirt. Eat me. How about that?
That is a crime. People should be arrested.
$20. Betty W07. Have you heard of or know of anything that Obama signed something that chain can come in and run the U.S. if there is civil unrest? I'm assuming the military chain of command. Is that what that means?
China, maybe?
China, of course.
No, there's stuff about NATO. I believe that's like out there that they were trying to pull. I don't know. I haven't followed up on it. But
thank you for the super chat, though.
Interesting.
$20. Robert L. Tech Bros, Tech Bros, Tech Bros, Tech Bros. Just wanted you guys to say Tech Bros a couple more times. Keep up the good work. P.S. Tech Bros.
Love it.
And $2. Nan Ander 7. It's a terrible time of year for B-Day. At least we share with Nichelle Nichols. And I hope all know that that's Lieutenant Uhura from Star Trek. Thank you so much, Nan.
Awesome. Well, that's all of them. So thank you, everybody, for tuning in. Hit that thumbs up.
And buy subscriptions and stuff. But the thumbs up is really important.
Yep, it's great. And yeah, we'll see you this week. Don't miss all our Badlands content, and especially Tuesday night, New Year's Eve show. Should be a fun one. Thanks, boys. We'll catch you later.
Take care.
Witness the motion picture event that is being called fucking amazeballs.
Do you see the difference in the M there?
It's go time. 25 later on my
You got a seriously weird-ass way of looking at shit.
If you look at the waviness of the little flag that comes out of the R is wavy. The one in the first hump in the M is not wavy. It's just a pure arc. Does that make sense?
We want to warn our viewers that these are extremely graphic images.
Give me a second, dude. This is more autistic than I've ever been before.